Welcome back to the Tu-Vie podcast, your TV movie entertainment needs podcast. Today I am your host, and it's just me here. But today we're going to be talking about the other half of 2024. So let's get into it. 2024 is so far the most wild year of all time, with Pixar breaking $1 billion and setting records with Inside Out, Furiosa having a wonderful praise, but apparently being a flop in the box office while it being only 2 weeks in the theaters, like a very long string of movies. And at the same time, there have been other movies that have just not necessarily made the mark and maybe have left us disappointed. But that's not what we're here to talk about. That's a whole other video. We're here to talk about the other half of 2024 and the movies that I think you guys should be excited for, the movies I'm excited for. So let's go review them. So as of this recording, we have the release of Despicable Me 4 and Maxine, the third installation of the X trilogy with Mia Goth that is apparently doing pretty well. I'm actually probably going to go see that sometime this week, and I'm very excited for it. As well as Kinds of Kindness. That's been out for a little while now, and it's doing pretty good. But we have a whole other 6 months of getting new movies that are pretty incredible, very unique, and overall just very exciting. Starting off with July's movies. So July's movies, we have Fly Me to the Moon, Long Legs, and Sing Sing all coming out July 12th. And those are three very different movies. With Long Legs being called the scariest movie or one of the scariest movies ever made, being compared on the same level of like Silence of the Lambs, people having reviews of leaving early or throwing up in the middle of the movie. This movie shows absolutely no promise to me. I'm not going to watch it. I'm too scared. I'm not going to see it. Cameron will probably go see it. He's going to leave his review and we'll just talk about it. I'm not seeing it. We talk a bit about it in our summer hits episode, which you guys can check out now. It's a lot of fun, but it's not for me. But the other two remaining, Sing Sing and Fly Me to the Moon, right up my alley. Fly Me to the Moon is this funny movie with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum that is about the Apollo 11 mission going to the moon, and that they have to film a moon landing on a fake set in case it just doesn't work. Which is kind of funny when you think about the whole like conspiracy theories that we faked it or all these other different things about it being fake or real, whatever the case may be. It's just kind of funny how they made a movie that shows like, hey, maybe we did both. And with Sing Sing, Coleman Domingo is leading this movie about this man that was falsely imprisoned, and while he was in prison, he joins this theater program inside it about these group of people, and it apparently is based also on a true story about the group of people in this program and their rehabilitation story. And it genuinely looks like one of the most moving movies of 2024. And Coleman Domingo is a fantastic act, so I'm super excited to go see this. And then we have Twisters out July 19th. This movie looks pretty good. We've been seeing all the ads for this movie. It looks fun. Glenn Powell looks like he's killing it in the game with movies. And when I heard that they were doing a Twister sequel, I didn't think it was going to be okay to begin with because I just felt like it was a cash grab, but it's thoroughly surprising me, and I'm taking back the words. It looks pretty good. And then we have the big movie everyone has been waiting for since July's beginning, and even since its movies was announced, Deadpool and Wolverine out July 26th. At the same time, we also have another movie coming out called Dee Dee, which is a new coming-of-age film, also out July 26th. Now, Deadpool and Wolverine, not going to say much about that because we're going to have a whole predictions video coming out very soon about this movie. Cole and I are going to go see it. Super excited for it. Dee Dee, though, I kind of want to cover a little bit. So it's a new coming of age movie, and I feel like we haven't had a actual coming of age movie in a while. Maybe it's just me, maybe I haven't seen them, but I have always liked coming of age movies. Is they're so wide in their storytelling, but I feel like in some way everyone can relate to some parts of those stories, and it's overall just great storytelling because it's usually come from personal stories from either the director or the writers or whatever, and these personal stories connect with us, like I just said, because we've experienced these in different ways. It's an interesting story about, the summer of 2008 and transitioning from middle school to high school and kind of learning to be your own person outside of what your family can teach you and everything. It's a pretty unique story, and I'm actually super excited to go see this movie. It looks genuinely well done. Now moving on to August. In August, we get a great start with August 2nd's release of Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. It looks pretty good. I know Shyamalan has had a long string of ups and downs. I know his last few movies maybe have not been the strongest cases, but Trap looks pretty good. If for some reason you guys haven't seen the trailer for Trap, it's pretty much there's this concert that this dad takes his daughter on, and it turns out the whole concert is it's a trap. And the reason why it's a trap is because he's known as like the butcher or something like that, where he has been unaliving a bunch of people. And so that's kind of the whole point of the movie. Now he's going to try and have to get out. And there's been like people theorizing that, oh, maybe the daughter's actually the butcher and he's trying to keep her safe. And that's an impressive theory, really. With him, not it just, I never know. That very next week on August 9th, we have the new Borderlands movie, the next line of video game adaptation movies, and it looks fine, pretty stellar cast. Everybody, I'd say it looks like the video game counterpart, especially Jack Black undergoing very heavy surgery to look like Claptrap. I mean, just unrecognizable. I never played the Borderlands game like consistently. I think I played for like 6 minutes back in 2015 or something. I don't know. It was so long ago. I played for very little, so I don't necessarily have high expectations for it with the video game adaptation to movie. I not really that much, but I have heard okay things from people who have played the games, and they have kind of reviewed the footage, and they go, yeah, it's this and this, or it was all these other different things. And I remember talking about it with Cameron sometime off camera, and he was saying apparently it was supposed to come out in like 2022 or something, or it's been done for a while. I don't know exactly what he said, but apparently, of all things, Cameron does not have faith in this movie. Colin and I are kind of indifferent because we didn't really play the games, or when I remember, we didn't play the games. Point is, there's a lot of differences in this movie. People are super excited for it. People really don't think it's gonna be that great because of the movie comparisons. I'm not sure. And frankly, I'm gonna hold my opinion on this one for now, but it's coming out August 9th. Then on August 16th, that is where the real money starts pouring in with August. Alien Romulus. This movie looks absolutely insane with a obvious return to the original style of going back into this low lit dark horror. It looks perfect. I mean, genuinely, this movie looks so good, and Fede Alvarez, who's the director, is just giving more projects like this. Like it genuinely looks so stupid good, so good that my girlfriend, who has never seen an Aliens movie, wants to go actually see this. And that, if you can do that to the audience, you won. You've won. I mean, really. And then ending on the August run is the reboot The Crow movie, starring Bill Skarsgård. I've heard genuine mixed reviews about this. I've seen some people that I follow who went to go see like an early screening of it somewhere. I think it was like at a film festival. They said it was okay. They just said it's all gore and no anything, I think is what they were saying, or something like I didn't really see a lot of positive reviews. I saw more negative stuff, but it's The Crow. It's kind of hard to really now the Brandon Lee version, very hard to top that, but how hard can you really mess that up? Moving on to September. Kicking off September with Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, the long-awaited sequel to the Beetlejuice movie, my favorite Tim Burton movie, with pretty much everybody except Gina Davis and Baldwin coming back to reprise their roles with a new edition of Jenna Ortega as Astrid Dietz, the daughter to Lydia Dietz, Winona Ryder's character. But Michael Keaton's coming back to play Beetlejuice, and we have a new addition to the cast of Willem Dafoe as Wolf Jackson. Back so long ago when they were talking about even just talking about potential sequels with Burton, I was a little skeptical because during that time is when sequels were just coming out because they're just making money. And when Burton and Winona said they'd only do it if Burton was involved in directing it, I was like, all right, well, the chances of that probably happening are low, but at least they're, consistent with it. Flash forward a few years later, here we are. Burton has said that there's very little CGI in this movie, and they're going back to the way they originally made this movie, where it was miniatures and stop motion and all those other different things. And I genuinely could not be more excited for this movie. That is the perfect way to go back to the form of this movie, especially with Beetlejuice, where it's such a chaotic character. I think adding so many elements that would take away the really like cool and gritty part of it would ruin its character. And they also said that the Keaton's like time on screen is only up by I think like a minute or 30 seconds, and he was in the first movie for 7 minutes maybe. He wasn't in that movie for a long time, which is good because too much of something is a bad thing. Too much of something is bad. But the fact that Keaton's like, yeah, I don't want much screen time. I feel like it's just going to be annoying and people are going to start hating the character, which is great. But the fact they gave him like I think 30 seconds to I think to a minute more, great. We get to see a little bit more, and it doesn't ruin the character. I think this is a knockout. Super excited for it. Little confused why they didn't maybe go for like an October release. I feel like Burton and Halloween goes hand in hand, but hey, I am not complaining. It's coming out. Then September 20th, we have another set of double features, which is pretty popular in this other half of 2024. September 20th is going to be having the release of Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, and Transformers 1. Now, the Christopher Reeves documentary is going to be highlighting his time as Superman and as well as the fatal accident that left him paralyzed and everything else past that in his journey, just battling all of that. And it sounds like a really intense documentary, but I'm very curious to see how it plays out. I really do hope they don't move on from his impact as a person as much as he had an impact as Superman, because both of them were just as iconic. So I'm very curious to go see this in theaters. And then Transformers One, which has been praised so high, and it's gotten standing ovations. It's tracking this most successful movie for this, and it doesn't look too bad. But I mean, it is getting very high expectations built upon each new thing that it's discussing. And I just hope it lives up to it. I like this story that we get to find out the origins of Prime and Megatron, all these other different great characters that we come to know and love. But I just didn't think it would be this result. Another set of double features on September 27th, we have Megalopolis and The Wild Robot. I want to first talk about The Wild Robot because wow, does that movie look great. The Wild Robot has a giant cast of Pedro Pascal, Bill Nye, Stephanie Hsu, Ving Rhames, Mark Hamill, Matt Berry, Lupita Nyong'o, and Catherine O'Hara. Star-studded cast for what looks like a absolutely beautiful movie. Chris Sanders is the director of this movie, and you probably know Chris Sanders from his past movies like Lilo and Stitch, The Croods, Call of the Wild, and I believe even directed I think he was like one of two directors for How to Train Your Dragon, who's also even the voice of Stitch, working with DreamWorks Animation to create this beautiful story that I genuinely cannot wait to see. And for Megalopolis, not much has been said that's good. Everything that I have heard has just been negative feedback, and it's like a bumbling mess or something. And frankly, I know the teaser trailer didn't give us much, which is good. I think teasers should just get you excited for the movie. But I don't know what to feel with this movie. I mean, it's a unique cast, but yeah, I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. October, which is going to be having the, I guess, smaller number of the bigger releases coming out this year. We have Joker Folie à Deux coming out October 4th, which is looking to be way better than the first. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think it's going to be way better, way better than the first movie. And I've said it on the podcast. I'm not the biggest fan of the first movie that much. I may need to rewatch it, but I wasn't like so crazy about like everybody else was. We're like, oh my god, it's a great movie ever made. I just thought it was fine. I really didn't. I mean, Colin was not happy about that for the longest time. He saw it like I think 4 or 5 times in theater or something like that, but genuinely just didn't get it. This one looks way better. And I'm not a big fan of like musicals, and so when I found out they were doing musical elements in the movie, it kind of just turned me away even further. But it looks really good. I am proud to say I am wrong about this, and I really hope it does a good job. Next up, October 18th, we have Smile 2. Again, another set of movies I didn't think I would ever see a sequel of. Smile is another one. Didn't like it. Not gonna really see this. Just because I don't like horror, not because anything else. Just not a fan of the genre. But Naomi Scott looks like it's going to be the lead of this movie, and people like the first one, so have fun. And to end October, we have October 25th, Venom: The Last Dance. What can I say about this movie? I mean, truly, we got the Vorse, we have Venom biting off a bunch of people's heads, and us actually getting to see it. We get just another installation in this trilogy. We get I can't remember the name of the creatures, but pretty much just like eat the symbiotes. We get to learn more about Venom's past and everything. I don't even know what to call this movie other than a cinematic masterpiece. I mean, truly, this movie is gonna win so many Oscars, unreal amount of Oscars. Let's just get it. Venom to the Oscars. Hashtag Venom to the Oscars. Let's get it going. We have a pretty interesting set of November movies that I cannot wait to get into. So let's get into it. The beginning movie of November is kind of starting mid of November. Red One coming out November 15th. It is the Christmas movie with J.K. Simmons, Dwayne Johnson, and Chris Evans. J.K. Simmons is playing Santa Claus, duh. And Dwayne Johnson is playing like his coach or something. I don't know. So pretty much someone that works for Santa, and then Chris Evans is someone on the naughty list, and they have to go find Santa who has been kidnapped. And it looks interesting, looks fine. You know, I'll probably take my nephews to go see it, but yeah, no, apparently just that movie came out recently with some news about Dwayne Johnson's attitude on set, with him urinating in bottles and being late and all these other different things. So that's gonna be fun to hear some questions on of the press tour if they get a chance to ask. Moving on from that, we have recent looks of this Gladiator 2. November 22nd is its release, and it looks pretty good. I you can't really give a lot of hints into how the movie's going to be with just a still. But Paul Mescal looks good. Pedro Pascal looks great. Joseph Quinn looks great. Denzel Washington looks great. It looks like it's going back to the same scale as to what the first movie is, and it looks pretty good. Paul Mescal plays a character that was inspired by Desmond's, I guess, actions during the first movie that inspired him to kind of revolt against the king in this movie. I do not know. Something like that was floating around during CinemaCon, which we did cover in our CinemaCon episode, which you can check out now. But the movie seems like it's on a good track, and it seems like it is setting up this movie with giant scale and weight behind it that it knows it has to carry. Because the first Gladiator movie is pretty good, and it's very popular. And so if this one coming out, there's going to be a lot of expectation with it. And the last movie Ridley Scott did was Napoleon. Wasn't necessarily good. I'm not saying Ridley Scott's a terrible director. I'm not saying that at all. He's made some incredible films, some of my favorite movies. But Napoleon just felt unique. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't my taste. I don't know. But just hope this one works. Oh, did I also forget to mention that this next movie is also up with Gladiator 2 in the other parts of this double feature. Second half of 2024 is the double features month. So Wicked coming out November 22nd as well as Gladiator 2. I this is just me coming from a person who really doesn't much care for musicals, didn't really ever see the Broadway play. I don't much care for this movie because it's not something I've been needing. But for everyone else that's super excited, awesome. Super happy for y'all. Hope you enjoy it. And ending off November is Moana 2 coming out on Thanksgiving, November 27th. I believe this was supposed to be a Disney Plus series or something like that they just kind of merged into a movie. At the same time, while this movie is being released, or yeah, I guess released now, the Moana live action movie is being made. They just announced the Moana family with the live action dad, grandma, Moana, and Dwayne Johnson coming back to play, as well as voice Maui in the second one, but play Maui in the live action one. So, that cow is just getting just milked, man. I mean, Frozen's getting a 3 and 4. Just come on, man. It's crazy. But I don't know. I love the first Moana movie. I'll probably get around to watching this movie, and it was just so weird to see a live action movie so close to a sequel. Here we are. And kicking off the last month of 2024, December. Kicking off with Night Bitch coming out December 6th. It originally was supposed to be a Hulu released movie, but after high praise at a test screening, Searchlight bought it and wanted to release it theatrically. It is starring Amy Adams, where it's like a psychological movie of some sort. It's kind of hard to describe. All I know is that Amy Adams is playing a stay-at-home mom that has her whole life changed. I remember hearing something about some psychological stuff, but not much else has been said. I don't really think even a trailer's out yet, and if it is, I haven't seen it, but I will probably see it as soon as it comes out. I like Amy Adams. I like a lot of movies she's done, and I hope that she does good. That's all I can say. Next up, we have a movie that has dropped its teaser trailer well over a year ago now, with no other trailer added, no other word added, just a bunch of delays. Kraven the Hunter coming out December 13th. Think it was supposed to have been out twice by now, but yeah, that's a movie that's still being made. Yep. Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Kraven. It looks better of the three villain movies that have been made so far with Venom and Morbius. And this one just looks like it letting get violent and cool. Not much else I'm gonna say. I was excited for the trailer. It looked better than normal. It looked pretty violent. Shocked me there, but not much else. And then a movie I'm excited about, which is also a double feature for Kraven the Hunter. And if it doesn't make more money than Kraven, we have lost ourselves as a society. But December 13th is also releasing Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim, which is, in my surprise, going to be an anime. I could have sworn I heard a live action because I heard Lord of the Rings. I just maybe assumed, but the animation for it looks really well done. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Lord of the Rings lore and the Rohirrim, pretty much the Rohirrim are Northmen descent of those who inhabited the realm of Rohan. So in Rohan, if you remember from the first Lord of the Rings movie, it was a very vital importance of the trilogy. I don't really want to go too much into it and spend so much time talking about why those are just fantastic movies. Just go watch them. It's pretty much just going to be awesome Lord of the Rings movie. It's just going to be an animated Lord of the Rings movie, like combined with the old past of the history, with involved these iconic sites from the first movie and all these different things that built into the lore from The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. That is even going further back into like pretty much, I think it was like the first age of men in the Middle Earth. But again, don't know much else. Forgot a lot of it. Super excited for this movie. Right after that, December 20th, we have Mufasa, the Lion King, a live action Lion King prequel of Mufasa and his rise to power. Not much else I can say. Looks fine. I didn't think we'd ever get this kind of movie because I just didn't think there was a story to be told. I thought it was just like, yeah, I became king, didn't do a half bad job. Thought it was that, but hey, look at that. It looks pretty good. I'll probably get around to it, but yeah, not too bad. A movie that has a lot of people waiting in giant anticipation is Sonic the Hedgehog 3, out December 20th as well. Part 2 of a double feature this year. Oh my god, I have to recap the amount of double features we got coming out this year. I'll get to that in a second. But Sonic 3, introducing Shadow, is going to be just wild. And with, I believe, Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow, from what I remember, not Hayden Christensen, which is, I feel like Keanu was a safe bet. Hayden, I feel like, would have done a really good job. Just me. But super excited for it. I've liked the first two Sonic the Hedgehog movies. It's felt pretty good. I didn't watch Knuckles. I don't have Paramount Plus. But it seems like it's doing a pretty good job keeping to the source material and having some fun references to the old games, and for fans, it's been pretty successful in my opinion. And ending off the entire year of movies on Christmas Day is not another Star Wars movie, you would think, but a movie that I'm super excited for is Nosferatu, a movie yet again with Bill Skarsgård and Willem Dafoe, and can't remember his name right now. Nicholas Hoult. That's who it is. Whew, that was going to burn me up. Nicholas Hoult playing into this movie that is a retelling of the many times told Nosferatu story about the very first vampire, which is, I believe, what Nosferatu is. Pretty much neo-Gothic. It's looking awesome. I'm super excited for it. Robert Eggers is coming back to direct this movie, and it just looks so dark and gothic. It looks so good. I feel like this movie is going to kind of follow the similar trends of like what his past movies have been, which isn't necessarily cult classic and cult following, but wasn't the highest praise in the beginning as well. So like The Lighthouse, I'd say was pretty successful at first. It just kept growing. I think a lot of people saw it through TikTok jokes. In The Northman, which didn't necessarily get high praise immediately, but I think now as it's been out for a while, it's getting higher praise. And then The Witch, which was a knockout from the very beginning. And I think the difference between all those movies and this one is that this is going to probably have a cult following, since from what I've seen in the public, I think everyone says it looks great, and I don't think a lot of people are going to be going to see it, which is where that cult following will come in years later, because I think neo-Gothic and this old school storytelling and just even horror, but especially with this very darker tone, and it's such, I guess, time period, like a time, piece, not a lot of people are going to go immediately rush to it, but I think it's going to set it apart from the past movies. It's going to be great, possibly even his masterpiece. So please give this movie a chance. Now, I've said this a lot, but we have a ton of double features, so let me just recap them for you real quick. July has the first triple feature of 2024 with Fly Me to the Moon, Long Legs, and Sing Sing. Then we have Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, and Transformers 1, both coming out September 20th. Followed up with Gladiator 2 and Wicked, November 22nd. Kraven the Hunter and Lord of the Rings coming out December 13th. And Mufasa the Lion King and Sonic the Hedgehog 3, both coming out December 20th. Now, my question for you all is, which one are you excited for? Be sure to comment below. Personally, I'm the one that's super excited for the Christopher Reeves Transformers back-to-back because A, love the Reeves movies, and B, I like Transformers. And that's the only two I think I can really go see in a day, really, honestly. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, be sure to check us out on past episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much everywhere else we get podcasts, we're there. Also, check us out on our platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Post a lot of fun reviews on Letterboxd. Trying to post a little more there, but got a lot of good stuff going on. Be sure to check our TikTok and also follow us on Instagram, like I just said. We post a lot of fun daily stuff there, so you guys don't want to miss out on all of that. And we will see you guys next time.